Okay, Mandy, couple quick points. We had been having a lot of camera issues, so I might go through this pretty quick just to see if we can get through it without the camera losing sound. Number two, I gave a reading to, I believe, to you from another site, but I think it was longer than 2 weeks ago, and it was on a different topic. If it were the same topic, I probably would not want to give you another read, assuming you're the same Mandy. That being said, you had questions about your financial future, so I did what was called a future spread. And keep in mind that anything in the future in this spread is outlined as being a possible future. You know, so it's funny because some spreads say this is the future, and then some say specify possible future. In any spread, there are always possible futures. You can always use your free will. But I think it's interesting that in this spread, the actual placement of the cards said possible future as opposed to near future. You know, it said possible, near, and possible distant future as opposed to near future and distant future. So it makes it even more malleable, I think, if that's the intent of the person who come up with this spread. The first two cards, it's a 9-card spread, by the way. The first two cards are paired up, and about your past. And you do the 3 of Swords and the 5 of Wands, which tells me that it's been rough in the past. You've had hard times, and there's been a lot of competition for you in the financial world. I could try to investigate that or belabor that, and this isn't even a live reading, so it's the past. Let's just leave it in the past and look at your present situation and see if we can glean any information about your financial affairs from that. The 2 cards that were drawn for your present state were Temperance, and this kind of makes sense because if you're worried about your finances, then you're going to want to have some temperance in that. And this is what kind of confused me, so I thought about it for a moment. The Ace of Cups. Now, I'd much rather seen an Ace of Pentacles, but paired with Temperance, it kind of tells me you have a lot going on for you presently, and you said that you're negative, and that you're concerned, but maybe your negativity is one of the things that's holding you back. Maybe the idea that you have more to work with than you want to admit. Initially I thought maybe then you're not seeing, but that would be a different card. I think you're seeing it, I just don't think you want to admit to yourself that you probably got more to work with than and maybe it's because the work involved. I don't know. Actually, I do know because I know the next 2 cards. But yeah, you've got it. Things are okay. You've got plenty of resources. You just need to take them and do the right thing with them. And the 2 cards for your near future are, and I love it because this is my Oswald Worth deck, and it's got a lot of French. So I don't speak French, but I can fake it maybe. It says it's Cavalier de Baton, or the Knight of Wands. And this is about your energy, creative energy, moving forward, that type of thing. And it's paired with, interestingly enough, the Chariot. Now, I find this interesting because the Chariot is about being pulled different directions at once and not knowing which way to go a lot of times, or not having a sense of control. And then I thought, well, how does that square with your Knight of Wands? And it's about having direction and creativity and doing, and it kind of pairs up for me. It's kind of like there's a Paul McCartney song where he sings, "It's a fine line between chaos and creation," or something like that. And that's what it is. It's the chaos and creation, or chaos of creation. There's in the near future, you're going to have to settle on a direction. And it's going to be your creativity that takes those resources that we talked about in the present and multiplies them. And the thing too is, and on my other deck, the chariot driver has reins, but they're not doing him any good. This guy, he not only has no reins, he's not freaking out over the situation. He's calm because he knows that these different directions that those sphinxes want to take him, if he finds that right meditative place, if he finds that space of allowing, it's going to work. The creativity is going to come. You know, it's kind of like a writer who's a really good writer, but he always has a mental block. You know, and this is how you get past that, is you find that space. And I think this is going to be for you how you take your present situation and multiply it by finding that creative force and finding its direction for you. Now, the last three cards are for your distant future, and you drew the Empress, the World, and the King of Swords. So what's so wonderful about this is the Empress is about fertility. It's about having, you know, there's a lot of feminine power in it, and it's about having sort of these earthly forms of abundance. And these aren't exactly counterparts, but there's this, I love the balance of the male and female energy here, because your last card was the King of Swords, which is about authority and intellect, and it's the perfect complement to the female, even though, you know, well, it could be argued that there's, I mean, these two cards aren't necessarily designed to complement each other. I think they do in this spread, particularly with the World between them, because it's just a wonderful placement for these guys. The balance of energies, the yin and yang, and the World, and the fact that this is a financial question that you're asking. The energies that these three cards have for your long-term future are good. It could be about you and your partner, or it could just be aspects of yourself. The fact that you want to have the intellectual and authority of the king that works with the abundance of the female energy, so that you have anything in the world that you want, because those two things do, you know, are required. So I don't want to go in depth with that, or I can be talking all night about the way male and female energy play each other to each other's benefits, but it's a wonderful thing when it's done right. But I just love these three cards together like this. I think it's a very, very good thing. I think that you have a lot of potential in your long-term future with those cards. Like I say, I don't want to try and do a time thing, because this is about near future and distant future. Possible near future and possible distant future. I don't want to try, I mean, I would like to try and play some sort of intellectual, or not intellectual, intuitive thing. I've done that, but I don't want to do that tonight. I don't want to feel like I'm showing off or pushing it or anything like that. I get a sense, you know, though, what it is that you have and what it is creatively you need to work on to make grow. That's somewhere in everything that I've said. You're going to respond and say, oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, so I don't even need to try to pull it. So good luck. I'm really happy. I mean, not a pentacle in the read, but given those last three cards, I don't think you needed one. And I'm happy to see this for you. So let me know how it works out, and blessings to you.